time to go over some tools. Less of my face and more business. So just to start with, there's some general things. A mole stick, you can use any kind of stick or even a ruler to steady your hand while you're working when you're really going over the fine details. This is, useful for all projects. Same goes for the ruler. You can use this at the painting stage to make sure you get some straight lines. And while we're setting up the projects in side size, we will be using this as well. Some tape, obviously. Brand doesn't really matter. If you have a very sticky kind that will tend to rip your paper, then you can do a trick where you take a piece and then, assuming you have long sleeves or a shirt, just stick it on there a couple times and pull it off. There will be enough lint on it after that to lessen its sticking power a little bit, and it won't tear the paper. So these are just general tools, I guess. For graphite drawing then, naturally we're gonna be needing something to draw with. So you can use normal pencils. These are just Staedtler Mars Lumograph pencils. The range will be from 2B softness being the softest. You don't need anything softer than that. It might, produce more sheen on the final image, and you might not like that. So obviously if you worked in graphite before and you're comfortable with using a larger range, then go ahead. But we will be working with mostly 2B, HB, and 2H will be the hardest one. I've gone up to 4H, and it's kind of, approaching the place where you're like drawing with a rock. It never gets dull, the pencil even. It's nice for, really fine rendering, but you don't really need it. 2H is fine. And H might be helpful in some cases as well for some halftones and all this kind of stuff. But basically, like, you can do this whole process just using a 2B pencil. Once the pencils get shorter, you sharpen them. Obviously, they don't last long. You just go through them like crazy, especially you drop it and, you lose this amount of lead and you're really sad. It's heartbreaking. Then you can start using a pencil extender where you can even use a small stub of a pencil and still get use out of it. It's pretty handy, and these are simple, very cheap tools. This is like €2 or something. Also a newer addition to the line. If you want, I will show you a way to make really dark darks with pencils. It kind of damages the paper a little bit, even you're kind of really forcing the graphite down there. I know it divides opinions, but that's how I was taught. I'm ready to use it if I want to push the value range. That's fine for me. But there's these pit graphite matte pencils these days, which they get a little bit darker than the regular pencil, but also they are harder to erase. I guess it's, there's more binder or something here, and they don't shine as much. If you're comfortable with using these, then you can just give it a go. Some people, I think, use also compressed charcoal for the very darkest accents. Even if it's a graphite drawing, we don't have to be super purist about the materials if we want to really push the value range. So you might think how one gets point like this on a pencil. It's actually pretty dull. I haven't used this in a while. Basically, you're gonna need a razor blade. They sell these in packs. This is like for a window scraper. You can just pull off some material. You can use an X-Acto knife. Same principle. Just get rid of the wood, have a decent amount sticking out. Another important tool you need is a sanding pad. This is, obviously self-made. Just need something flat, and you can just super glue a piece of sandpaper on there, and then you sharpen the pencil like this and you get it needle sharp. Well, you have to be sharpening all the time. You break these long things and you get sad and frustrated. Something I used it already in school after pretty much my first project is this 2mm lead holders. These are really a time saver, honestly. Drop it in a hole here and then sharpen a little bit. Just wriggle it around, then drop it in the other hole. Let the lead kind of just drop in there, and then do another round of rolling until it stops making a noise, Okay, no friction there. Then you can just wipe it off on the small bit of the sponge here, and you got it needle sharp. Only takes like 10 seconds. You can't really mess it up. Unlike with sanding, you have to maintain a fine angle. You press too hard, accidentally it breaks. Once again, we have a very sad art student. So yeah, but you can change the lead very quickly on this. You can buy multiple, so you don't have to. Also, it's the same thickness of lead as, well, graphite as these normal pencils. So, if you break this thing off, you can just toss it in here and you can still use it. Also, helps save you a bit of money. You can use that otherwise useless piece of drawing material. Next up, erasers. Obviously, everyone knows the normal kind of eraser. You can use that as well for, some rough erasing. We're aiming not to need that kind of rough erasing. We want to be precise. We want to be light with our marks. This is a very much used, needed eraser. You can kind of make it take a shape. This is actually pretty old. It's kind of just breaking apart. I have a new one here. They sell it in packs like this. Kind of functions like blue tack. Once you've used it enough, it kind of starts becoming a bit brittle. It doesn't stretch as much. So you might want to replace it when you get to the point that this is. It's kind of you know, dried out and already pretty saturated. But the kneadable eraser part comes from you being able to knead it, and it kind of always finds you a nice fresh spot to use, and you can really make it a tool whatever the shape you need. You know, you can make it a fan shape and wipe something off gently. You can make it a really fine point and just pick out the smallest amount. In some places you can make it a roll and roll out an area to just lighten the lines, which we'll do in some cases. Basically it's just, you know, something you can really manipulate. That said, if you need something like hard erased, you know, this thing comes in handy. It's the Tombow, being the brand, Mono Zero eraser. And it's also replenishable. They sell these things in packs, the replacement things, and this one has lasted me a while. Still the same one I bought for my student days. So, you know, doesn't really seem to break very easily. You just buy some new erasers for it. And this thing is so small, obviously, that it just gets you a really nice line you can like really carve in and create that crisp edge when you need it. You can also kind of hatch with this and lighten things, and in some cases even pick out some, you know, dark spots. So again, you know, use it with creativity. Don't use it just, you know, how I tell you to. Next up, we get into the crazier selection of tools. We have the basic stumps here. These are paper stumps. These actually leave a bit of tone. Maybe you can see on the drawing board here. You use them for actually applying some graphite onto the paper and then, you know, blending it out. One quality paper stumps have is it tends to leave the surface kind of a light mid-tone. So we don't really use these so much in the shadow parts because these pick up more graphite than they put down in the darks. And we use these for modeling the lights. The smaller ones you can use for smaller bits, obviously more precise. A really well used rounded up one like this. It has a lot of graphite in it, kind of built in. You maybe don't even need to put any down before using this one for blending or modeling, but these for more rougher things. And I guess you can kind of sharpen these, but they tend to come out a bit uneven and you have to really like scrub them to make them nice and smooth again. So I mean, they don't cost much. It's like €1 or €2 for a pack of these. So then we come into the weirder stuff. People don't maybe associate graphite drawing with brushes, but these can come in handy. This kind of synthetic brush can actually be used to lift off quite a bit of graphite in the shadows. But you know, if you apply a bit too much in some areas, in some cases we'll be applying more of a general tone. You can then maybe lift out some reflected lights with this thing without going in with something like this eraser, which then will leave, you know, very light marks in the shadow. And then you will have to again darken those, and you know, it can become a back and forth. So we're always on the lookout for something that makes our job easier. This can really sometimes save you from a lot of hassle. It might be just, you know, one stroke and you got a perfect, you know, shadow there. Just, you know, handle some edges or something. This one, it's a synthetic brush, but it's cut super sharp. It's just basically a stub at the end. It still takes a bit of graphite, but we use this for darkening things. So when we have a dark area on the drawing, we have some tone, and then we can just spread it out quite evenly. It becomes kind of smooth and dark, where we don't have to hatch everything layer by layer. We can just get a very even, smooth tone that is also very dark, because this thing doesn't really remove the graphite in a similar way as the stump does. So we'll be using this quite a lot when drawing in graphite. Basically all the massing of the shadows, we use this one. There will be some patches, but we'll take care of those, you know, at the refining stage. And also, you know, we can use stumps to lift things off, and the synthetic brush, softer one, for you know, refining things. But yeah, these are some useful tools for graphite stage. Maybe if I have to go over just the bare minimum, you can do this course with just a single 2B pencil. It's going to be more tricky because it's harder to handle, you know, the tone with a softer pencil in the very lights, but you know, you can just barely scrape the surface and it'll leave something light down. It's just easier to handle something a little bit harder. So I'm not really expecting anyone to be in the position where they can't afford a second pencil. So maybe you can get one hard one and one soft one, and that should be plenty enough. If you have to pick one eraser, I guess it would be a kneaded eraser, because you can use that in the charcoal stage as well. For sharpening, you know, everyone has some blade around. Sandpaper doesn't really cost much. just stick it on the surface somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a pinch you could blend with your fingers. So this is kind of the bare minimum you need to complete this course, which isn't much. Obviously, the final thing we'll need is paper. I don't have the paper we used in school, which is Canson Mi Tan. So yeah, it's a French word, but yeah, anyways, that stuff is pretty good. It has a rougher side, it has a smoother side. You use the smoother side for these projects, otherwise it's very grainy. I did one bark drawing before attending school on the grainier side, and yeah, it doesn't look so great. But I will be using a Fabriano paper. I have a big roll of it over there, and I think it's decent enough for this kind of stuff. I recommend you pick a paper that is maybe cream color or something, not just pure white. It'll look nicer in the end as an artwork. You get something you can enjoy. Also, a side note, you can pick a toned paper that matches the project you're working in. Don't pick anything too dark, but working on a toned paper might help you out a little bit, considering you're working by yourself. We don't want to like add more challenge than we need to. So this is the stuff we're working with. So to recap, we have plenty of tools. Not all of them are necessary. If you can get all of these, that is very convenient. Personally, I will probably be using this setup so I don't have to use time for sharpening as much. I will be using these blending stumps. I will definitely be using this stubby brush, mono zero and kneaded eraser. This is pretty much my arsenal right here. The rest is kind of optional. Just realized I forgot a couple things. You'll need a string for measuring. And when we do the bark project, we're just gonna be, going like this on the paper and actually getting some very accurate physical measurements. A thicker string is good because it doesn't slip around the thumb so much, so you can be a bit more precise. It feels easier to handle, just something that comes from experience. You can use a super thin string if that's all you have, but it might be a bit clumsier to handle. Next thing, a knitting needle or something similar with which you can then use to measuring when we move to comparative measurement. You can use a pencil, of course. The dark tip of it does make it harder to detect the end point though. If you're measuring something, that is in shadow on the live model, it's a very let's say unclear edge that you're measuring to, things like that. So again, from experience, it's better to have something that is, a mid value, something like this. Also, you have a bit more length to work with when you're working on a project. You might want to measure the whole width of a still life setup from your looking spot, and maybe the pencil or brush handle isn't too accurate for that. That said, I've used brush handles before. And the final thing, of course, you'll need a drawing board of some kind. This thing I'm using as a table right now is my drawing board, where I can fit a full-sized sheet of large charcoal paper easily. We won't be needing anything this large. You could work A4 size for the bark and A3 for the charcoal, so around half this size would be already enough. But you know what materials you're going to be working with, so just make sure your board fits that. All right, well, let's get into the graphite project so you know what you're going to be actually working on.